Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm gonna give everyone a couple seconds to hop over, likely from their last meeting or lunch or wherever people are. So we'll give it about 20, 30 seconds, then we can kick things off. Excited to have you all on here. Right. Seeing some folks get in here, so that's good. Another 10 seconds or so, we'll kick off. Good to have you all on. All right, I think we're good to kick off. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. I know everyone's got a busy day these days, so we'll make sure to get going and get you all what you came for. So it's great to meet everyone, great to see everyone. My name is Alec Shadlbauer. I'm an enterprise account executive here at ChurnZero. I've been here myself for a little over 5 years, close to 5.5. So, speak with a lot of CS leaders, CS teams on a daily basis. So my favorite people, glad to have you all on here. Topic for today, we're going to be focusing on the topic of traditional sales CRMs versus customer success platforms and why, customer success really needs that purpose-built CS platform. So that'll be the focus for today. So we'll go ahead and kick off. Just as far as topics, like I said, sort of from a topic perspective, we're going to focus on an overview of each of them. So we'll give sort of an overview on CRMs, what they're really built for. Then we'll move into CS platforms. And again, the goal is going to be to highlight why a customer success platform is really a must-have as opposed to a nice-to-have for customer success teams today. So, like I said, I get the pleasure of speaking with dozens of CS leaders every month. And the one thing that I'm consistently hearing, not one thing, a couple of things that I'm consistently hearing are sort of the questions that you see up on the screen here, right? I feel like my team is flying blind. I feel like we are buried in reports in the CRM. I feel like I'm missing product signals, and I feel like our team is a little bit reactive as opposed to proactive. So if you're in the same boat as some of those questions, definitely not a need to worry. But the main reason behind that is that teams are using tools that are not purpose-built for their purpose. So customer success teams are using tools that are purpose-built for a pre-sales motion. So as sort of you can see at the top there, CS really can't win with with the wrong tools. So we have to make sure that we're focused in the right place there. So let's talk a little bit about CRM specifically and why they're not built for the post-sale customer success motion. So first of all, as the name, you think of a Salesforce, it's kind of in the name, right? It's designed for sales. It's designed for people like me who are running a pre-sales motion. It's not necessarily designed for folks like you all who are working a customer journey, trying to better understand deeper insights, trending insights about their customers. It's really focused on deals and opportunity management as opposed to a life cycle management of a customer and being customer centric. And it's also typically, this is a big one and an important one, static or point in time data as opposed to a customer success platform, which is more focused on being trending data that's updating over time and more visible post that deal closure. So that's a good way to start to think about some of the key differences. We'll get into more of this in a second here. Like I said, a lot of teams that I speak with also, they might do an initial sort of window shop of a customer success platform, realize, hey, maybe we're not going to have the budget. We'll do our own internal CRM build. And so I think there's a few things that teams don't always recognize when they say they're going to go that direction. One is going to be high development and maintenance costs. So while at the surface, it's, hey, I'm going to continue to use this tool that I already have, so it must be cheaper. That's not always the case. Because a CRM is so customizable, it's going to take a lot of effort and also money to be able to get that going the way that we need to get it going. For the second bullet here, we can see these are fragile and non-scalable systems. So, it's easy to break and it's tough to fix. So it's, again, not out of the box built for these use cases that customer success owns. So there's going to be a lot of effort there. And you're also going to have to become best friends with your development team or with your Salesforce engineers or your HubSpot team or whoever owns the CRM, which we love our folks on that side, but they might not love some of the asks that we're asking them, right? So we want to start to think about how can we best be friends with our folks, our team members on the other side as well. So we have a great quote here from Aaron Levine, who is the CFO over at a company called Profix. He has familiarity with customer success technology. He has familiarity with, trying to build more out of the CRM as well. And we thought he had a pretty awesome quote about the topic. So he said, while you can kind of mimic what a true CS platform does in Salesforce, it'll be more expensive, it'll be less efficient, less effective, and provide far fewer insights. So it's something to keep in mind. This is coming from a CFO who had to write the check to shell out the money to go to the CS platform. So something to keep in mind there as someone who's seen it. So now let's get a little bit more into the CS platforms themselves. So let's talk a little bit about what they do differently. So there's a few things here, and obviously this list could go on, but one of the big reasons why a team will buy this is because of the advanced capabilities around renewal and expansion forecasting, as opposed to just an initial opportunity and going through the sales cycle that way. They have the ability, specifically ChurnZero, to do in-app, so inside your own SaaS application, as well as multi-channel engagement. So CRM, it's going to struggle a little bit, not going to have the ability to connect to your SaaS product to do in-app engagement, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. And it's going to struggle when it comes to different ways to communicate with your customers in an easy way. CSPs are also really great for proactive churn risk identification. So like I mentioned in the beginning, everyone wants to move from reactive to proactive. A CS platform is going to be the best way to do that. And it does this by bringing in a lot of different data, creating those triggers, better understanding customer health through configurable health scores, all of which we'll get into in a second as well. And also, a little bit more flexibility for CS leaders to better understand team productivity. Again, because Salesforce and CRMs are so point in time, it can be difficult to understand what's coming up down the pike for your team from a CS perspective, where they're sitting right now. So it becomes a little bit more flexible for you and your team there. So like I was just alluding to a second ago, one of the big benefits of a CS platform, and ChurnZero is one that does this really, really well, is there are, for us at least at ChurnZero, and a lot of CS platforms are similar to this too, we have over 60 different native built integrations with different SaaS products that our customers are already using, with the goal of being really easy to plug into and start to run with and have data flowing in. So a few of those areas are listed here. Obviously the CRM, as much as this is us, trying to tell you the value of CSPs, we love CRMs. We just want to be able to bring in the right data into the CS platform. So that's going to be a core integration with a CS platform. Product usage analytics is really one of the big X factors for a CS platform, specifically the ability to bring in application behavior on a trending basis, which is something that a CRM struggles with. We want to better understand what's going on in these support conversations that are going on with the support team to help inform customer health as well. It has the ability to do similar to what like a marketing automation tool might do. A lot of our customers are using ChurnZero for their customer marketing efforts as well, because of the ability to drive engagements through workflows and whatnot. A couple others, we want to be able to bring in billing and financial data. How many times have you wondered, where is this customer in their bill? Is it overdue? We have the ability to create triggers and automation around that. We also can do some deeper level reporting by pushing data into a BI tool or bringing in data from a data warehouse to start to inform decisions as well. And then a really big one is, a CS platform will typically have some in-house survey and feedback tools as well. So NPS survey capability, customer satisfaction, customer effort, these types of surveys are able to be run directly out of a tool like ChurnZero or a CS platform. So like I was sort of alluding to, with all those native integrations, it's going to be easier to implement than going to your development team and asking for more custom work in Salesforce. Because we have all those native integrations, it's going to be lighter touch, and a lot of integration, implementation teams from these CS platforms will do some of that heavy lifting for you, ChurnZero included. There's going to be a lot that is pre-built, which is very key. You want to be able to come into a CS platform and have some things that are already built out with best practices where all you have to do is get your data flowing in. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or start from scratch. It's going to empower non-technical users. So because this is a tool designed for a team that's not always going to have all the technical coding experience, it has to be easy to use, and it is. So you'll be able to have non-technical users making edits and changes on the back end. And it's also going to reduce dependency on internal champions as well. So again, not having to knock on as many doors via Slack or Teams when you need something updated or changed. So now that we're here, let's talk a little bit and give you a little bit of insight into what how ChurnZero approaches this, and what ChurnZero looks like to help you all, grow and retain your accounts. So the first one I would hit on here is everyone's favorite thing today, which is AI, right? And I think CRMs have definitely done a good job of starting to implement AI, but it's not necessarily going to be the way that you need in order to drive that customer relationship. So there's a few things that we're doing at ChurnZero, and stay tuned because we have a lot more coming down the pike here as well. But we started a couple years ago with our built-in CS AI assistant. If you all are familiar with ChatGPT or any of these tools, which I'm sure you are, it essentially is your assistant that lives inside your product that you can tap into anywhere you are within the ChurnZero application to give advice on emails, general best practices in customer success or working with customers. So that can be really impactful. We also wanted to help CS leaders by giving a little bit of a summary of what's going on with a specific account. So we're going to use AI to summarize everything that's changed. Again, going back to that trending data with a customer in a one pager, as opposed to making you go and dig into a bunch of different tabs to find what you need. And then one of our more recent ones is actually what you're seeing in these screenshots here, which is what we call engagement AI. So engagement AI is going to sort of solve the age-old problem of having, let's call it loosey-goosey idea of what's going on from a relationship perspective with your customers. Traditionally, it's very gut feel. We want to data back this with engagement AI. So we want to be able to look at all emails that are being exchanged with a customer, any meetings that we're having with a customer, any surveys they're responding to, and pull out some of those key topics that are coming out along with the sentiment of those engagements. So there's a lot that CS platforms like ChurnZero in this example are doing to use AI to make your teams more efficient. I sort of alluded to this earlier, but another thing that's going to go above and beyond a CRM is ChurnZero's ability to connect directly to your application through our JavaScript. And what that's going to allow us to do is deliver the right messaging at the right time to your customers in order to continue to drive them towards that renewal or towards that expansion opportunity. So we could do that through in-app pop-ups. So when your customers log into your product, they'll have a pop-up waiting for them that's targeted to them for a specific reason. We can do guided walkthroughs, we call them, which if you're familiar with app queues or WalkMe or Pendo, you'll have the ability to self-serve guide a customer through your product. And my personal favorite, because I think it's so unique, is what we call success centers, which are basically in-app portals that you can install inside your product. And that's actually what you're seeing here in the middle, which can include things like an onboarding checklist or a survey or different resources or knowledge base links that the customer might need. So again, meeting your customers where they are, not making them go hunt for things. Again, another thing that sort of goes above and beyond what a traditional CRM is doing. Along the same lines, we also want to help automate communications and in through different mediums and make it, easier on your team to be more efficient. So thinking about ways that we can automate communication around drops in engagement or follow up automatically on a survey response that we just got. We can do a lot of that. We're also going to provide templates for these, what we call playbooks, which are basically workflows like you're seeing here on the screen. So most of our customers are buying a CS platform for the first time. So we want to make it as easy as possible, allow them to tap into some best practices. And also something as simple but as powerful as an alert. I want to be alerted every time I have a customer up for renewal in 30 days, or I want to be alerted every time I have a customer that has dropped in usage by 10%. All of this is super easy to set up with a few clicks of a button in ChurnZero as well. And then lastly would be just better understanding forecasting, potential for accounts and how health plays into that. So actually for ChurnZero ourselves, obviously we are kind of our own customer. We use ChurnZero as a CS organization and as an organization in general. We were at one point piecing together 20 to 30 different Salesforce reports to get a good idea of what was going on from a forecasting perspective. And so with what we call the renewal and forecast hub, all of that has been consolidated. We're able to understand what's going on now, what's coming up down the pike from a retention, upsell, downsell perspective, and also be able to drill into that on a rep by rep basis to use for one-on-one. So it creates a landing zone for all of the forecasting that you can feel confident taking into the boardroom. And so a lot of that is driven by things like health scores that are configured inside ChurnZero or the relationship score that's coming from our engagement AI as well. So there's a lot of ways that you can slice and dice your accounts to better understand health and also feel confident renewing and going to the boardroom with confidence with some of these numbers. So obviously a lot I've shown you here. Always happy to hop on with any of you all and chat through more of this and show it to you live. But as far as a conclusion for today, hopefully there are some good takeaways. The main ones that we would be looking for there are that, CRMs are still fantastic. ChurnZero wouldn't exist without CRMs, but they're essential for sales and not necessarily customer success. It's really time that we all get our own sort of dedicated tools. And customer success platforms, right, offer tools, insights, and automation for long-term engagement. So beyond that initial sale. And that's really where we all want to be focusing. So again, a lot that we didn't necessarily cover from a CSP perspective today, but hopefully there were some good takeaways and some good action items for you all as you look forward to this. I do want to open it up to questions. It looks like we have just about 2 minutes left. So I want to make sure that I can see if we have some questions rolling through. So let me take a quick look here. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we have a couple good ones here. So I can hit on about two. So I see it, we're a smaller CS team. Is a CS platform still worth it for us? This could be a longer answer, but the shortest version of that is yes. We have customers at ChurnZero that have barely formed a customer success team, maybe still deciding what that looks like, but they want to be as proactive and as efficient as possible. So absolutely worth it. There's definitely things we can talk through to help sort of make that business case, but there's no company too small or no CS team too small to be using a CS platform. Okay, I also see what should we have in place before implementing a CS platform to ensure a smooth rollout. This is something that we would definitely dig in more with you through an evaluation process. But the main thing that we want to look for is some way to be able to tie an account together across different systems that you'd be integrating. So we'd be looking for some sort of account external ID, we would call it, that we can point to and say that account is what exists in my CRM, my product tool, my support tool, etc. That would be the main thing. There are a few other tips we can give you there too, but I think that's probably a good start as you start to think about it. All right, folks, it looks like we're at time, so I think we're going to go ahead and call it there, but really appreciate everyone hopping on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and look forward to speaking with you, more of you soon.